We have to play the Bennettarium song.
We have to.
The guitar's all the way there. And this goes a little something like, it's the Bennettarium, and Bunny's going to take a solo, and here she goes, and 1, 2, 3, and Bunny.
Bennettarium, it's the greatest thing that you ever saw. It's the Bennettarium.
Ryan.
Oh, get your shoes on for the Bennettarium. Get your shoes on your pants. This Sunday shoes for the show. Till it's time for the show.
Chelsea.
No.
Okay, here. Yay! That's way better. We don't need a guitar. Okay. Anyways, thanks for coming, everyone. That was our show. We have a lot of work to get back to.
Hello.
Don't joke about that.
This is the Bennettarium, brought to you by Steam Powered Draft.
I see you're wearing your favorite sports brand there, Brian. Zero.
Oh, it's Zero brand. It's the best brand ever created. Actually, someone made this hat for me, and I feel like I should wear it on the podcast.
Was it saying the? Oh,
it says things on it. But it's all backwards, so you can't read it.
No, we can read it because it flips it.
Oh, dang it! I was hoping it was going to be like a mystery, like you had to like.
I don't know if
take
anyone
it in,
noticed, but I also flipped it, so I'm not reversed. I was playing left-handed
No, I
guitar for
did.
the longest time.
I did.
We're all very proud.
Thanks. Unless it is. No. I see it in the stream. We're good. Unless it's backwards for you guys.
Oh, wow.
Buddy, you look amazing.
Thank you.
What have you been doing?
Is this my left hand
can
for
I
you guys?
For everyone who's only hearing the audio of this video,
This is the left hand, right?
Bunny
Yeah, it's on the left side for sure.
has two giant googly eyes on.
No. That's not how hands work. Is this my
No, she
left
doesn't.
hand?
Hi, everyone. I'm
What? Oh, no, that's your right hand. Wait, what?
Have we introduced
I
ourselves
don't
yet?
understand what you're saying. It's your right hand, obviously, right?
No, this is my left hand.
It is?
Yeah, so to get it to look correct on the stream, I have to reverse it for what you guys see. Does that make sense? Because the program always flips your camera to mirror, so
Okay.
so you'll see me as mirrored David. This is pointless. No one. This isn't interesting. I think the most interesting thing is Bunny's. Wait, did you just put giant things inside glasses or?
Bunny, I know you can't see this, but it's brilliant. It's exactly what you want. It's exactly what you want.
And you can see through those.
No. I got a bunch of googly eyes, and I put there's some of them are big, some of them are small. I put them on the Roomba. I put them on the trash can. I put them in the microwave. Well, I have two
how
more.
much that set you back?
I don't know what to do.
Hey, when you
Like
when you killed
$9?
Toontown,
Wow.
how much turpentine did you use when you killed Toontown?
A lot. Oh, I can put it on the microwave. This could be Mikey. Hey, Mikey, he likes it. Everything has a face. If you're,
That's
if you're,
hilarious.
I definitely.
put
I'm
eyes
all
right here.
for taking back the name Mikey.
damn life series. Wait, that's Kix, right? Kix
No, it's
likes
life.
it?
It's life.
Oh.
As a matter of fact, I watched that movie the other day, and it's not
They made a movie about a cereal.
No, it's with Michael J. Fox. And he's like a business. I don't remember what it's about, but it's terrible. Anyway,
Sure that wasn't a dream? No, I'm just kidding. Hey, let's recap Steam Powered Draft. We're working on an album. Okay, we're done. No.
We're really hard. We're at hard work on that album.
working hardly working.
Well, we should get that's the easy thing we can get out of the way. We're still working on the album. We don't want to give what the next batch of songs release day is because you're gonna slowly start figuring out how many when the album's gonna come out and stuff. But anyways, we're working on it and it's all sounding good. Got acoustic songs going. If you're of a certain tier on our Patreon, you get to hear some samples of the acoustic songs already. And you see some studio work videos. Still some secret stuff, though, that we're not spoiling for anyone. Yeah, anywho, besides the album, we're also working on some little animation stuff that we haven't shared anything with. Other than I think Bunny accidentally posted a spoiler on her Instagram publicly.
I did, but I did that intentionally.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't accidental.
I didn't care. So all you Steam Powered Draft sleuths out there, go follow
I
Bunny
feel
on
like we didn't
Instagram.
introduce ourselves properly, did we?
No.
No, we
Does
never
anyone know
did.
who we are?
No one knows who we are. They're like, which one's Zero?
They don't have a visual, so they can't tell.
Okay, I'm Isabella Bunny Bennett, and I play Rabbit and Gigi the Giraffe in Steam Powered. Sorry about that. Headphone users are gonna have to be warned.
That's accurate.
Let me start over.
Sure.
I'm Sorry.
Whoa, I heard that.
could hear
I heard
it.
that playback.
It was loud enough that
Sorry.
it picked up the microphone. I was
That's
checking to see
hilarious.
how loud it was, and when I pressed it,
I'm
you're
Gigi
like,
the Giraffe, and
you said it twice in a row.
I'm Gigi the Giraffe and Rabbit.
Cool.
Ooh. My name is Brian Barber, and I play Zero in Steam Powered Giraffe.
My name's David Michael Bennett, and I play the Spine in Steam Powered Giraffe.
Hello, my name is Chelsea Penyak. I'm a Walter worker with Steam Powered Giraffe.
Do the voice.
What voice? Okay, if that's how you want me to sound.
Copyright. You gonna pay the dog. You gonna pay the dog today. Oh, they gonna sick the dog on you, boy. They're gonna sick him.
Snoopy?
Oh, and he has a bird that can dive bomb down from the sky and tear out your eyes.
And also, he's the Red Baron.
Yeah,
I don't know if
he's-
you know this, but he
He
is
shot
the
down
Red Baron.
so
Yeah.
many
He makes
allied troops.
pizzas.
You know, I feel like that's a big conspiracy. Like, is he or isn't he? He is. Let's be real. Let's look at it like it is. He is the Red Baron, and we know it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that canon? Is he always been the Red Baron? I don't watch.
I think so.
I think he's
I think he time travels.
pretending to be.
Yeah, it's his dreams. It's his dreams.
I'm pretty sure his doghouse is a time machine and an airplane.
It's a deep. Snoopy gets deep.
Have any of you seen the-
Why
Seen
is he
Flyboys?
pretending? Why does he want to be this aerial like pirate?
Because who doesn't want to be like dogfighting is so cool? Because he's a dog and he's dogfighting.
That's
that what it
the
is?
joke.
Is that the joke?
It's not a joke. It's not very funny.
Is that the deep?
That's how you discern what's a joke. Did I laugh? No. The intent was not for funny.
But he dreams about dogfights, and he's also he's the best dog.
We're talking about Snoopy. If anyone doesn't,
From the Peanut cartoons, from Charlie Brown.
The peanut.
yes, from the Peanut
From the
cartoons.
Peanuts cartoon.
Peanuts.
There's
Say
multiple.
that fast
There's multiple
enough.
of them.
Yeah.
That's why you call it SpongeBob's cartoons.
SpongeBob's.
Anywho, this was very productive. Bennettarium.
Well,
Wait,
thanks
what
for
else
the-
are we
thanks for
working on?
coming.
Can we leak our thing that we're not leak, but
Yeah,
hint at our
we've
thing
already-
next week?
Sure.
We don't have to say we can't. We don't have to say the more of it
No.
other than
We can hint. We can hint. People know.
We get to do our first pitch to a company next week for our cartoon.
Yeah, we're actively working on the cartoon, and we got the pitch document all set up.
I mean, we don't-
working on the pilot. So
We don't have any expectations, but it's just fun that we're actually to this point. So that's cool.
That's
well,
true.
even if this doesn't go anywhere and we keep trying and it just doesn't get picked up, we're still producing little animations for our YouTube now, and I think that's we can turn that into a.
Technically, we
thing.
haven't had one, but we've been working on it behind the scenes. But we did post that one that Little Macarons did, and we did voices.
We
so-
did,
Yeah,
and
that
we
was
were already
awesome.
working on it before that, so it just kind of happened that there's this fan that did this awesome animation.
And it just
So we
so
posted it
happened
up.
that Little Macarons also pretty much wrote a script that matched kind of what we would do, I guess. I
Our
suppose.
humor,
It was
yeah.
very much in the vein of Steam Powered Draft.
Yeah.
Totally.
They
So that was
captured
that
it
was a
very
happy.
It was good.
happy,
Go check it out.
coincidence.
Or coincidence,
Yeah.
yeah.
We got more.
Yeah.
We got more on the way. More
Yeah.
little animations.
Mostly stuff we can't talk about.
Yeah, we will talk though. There's always that lull while we're working on stuff that we can't share too much with. But hey, should we? Let's talk about shows. We can hint a little bit about that since we haven't talked. We've kind of hinted it on our Patreon, but we will be having online shows in the future. But we won't say more than that, other than
Yeah.
it's going to be. They're going to be like like our live show, not as long, and hopefully
Not as live.
and not as live.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good
it's
summary.
we're in the testing phase right now, but we obviously the album is taking precedence or priority rather. So yeah, like don't worry, we're in the process of sort of recreating the magic of the live show, but for the virus world.
Which is just the world now.
And if you're on our Patreon,
Watch, once we come out with it, they're like, the virus has been defeated.
to be honest, I mean, it's still a pretty cool thing to do. I think, like, even if we somehow
Oh, yeah.
can go back.
Oh
and-
yeah. Well,
sure.
it's gonna take a while. Even if the virus did clear like tomorrow or stuff, it'd still take a long time. It's not gonna do that. But
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, like
we have
we-
a lot to work on.
done like on YouTube concerts before. Like, you know, it's always
Yeah.
something that's not just a live show in a theater. You know, has always been something that you guys have talked about and, you know, been interested in.
Plus
trying.
it's gonna take a while to get the live shows back up and running. Anyways, I mean, I'm sure we'll get to that sooner or later when the.
But
when
we
the
definitely
world
won't be the
changes.
first out of the gates, just because, like, I mean,
No.
we're not. I mean, our popularity we're happy with, but can't fool ourselves and think that we're gonna sell out our first show coming back. You know what I mean? Like, people are gonna
even
be
once
worried.
Yeah.
there's a vaccine.
Well, it's also
like,
dangerous.
Yeah.
It's
You
gotta be
You gotta wait
dangerous.
for enough people to have it to, you know, have that herd immunity. Like, it's not gonna be like an overnight. Yay, the world's back to normal.
Plus, with online
plus
stuff,
just-
more people see our stuff anyways than ever did at a live show.
True.
'Cause
Very
they're-
true.
Yeah.
The live show is gonna be totally different when it does come back. Like it's gonna be a whole new thing because we don't have Steve anymore. So it's like, but I think the technology is actually caught up with our ambitions. So
Totally.
it'll be interesting when we finally get back into it.
Well, a lot
Also,
of
we
this
have
stu-
so much time. We
Yeah.
have so much time to know what's going to happen. So
Yeah.
a lot of what
We've
we
figured
had
it
with
out.
Steve was because Steve wanted to work a certain way. So unfortunately, it wasn't very it wasn't good if he needed to be replaced or he needed to have a sub fill in. So
Yeah.
we have a different setup now. It doesn't even matter because we can't even work on it. But I already have it figured out, and we already have some folks in mind for future stuff. But no reason to talk about that now because it could be
Way on
years
the
off.
horizon.
As far as and just to tail in that thing about the online shows, if you're a Patreon, we will eventually within the next few months, most likely, have a test of what the show might be, us out of makeup and stuff. But that'll be
Cool.
That's not what the show's going to be. We're not going to be out of makeup
no.
from now on. It's just we're doing tests.
So we have some questions to answer on the Bennettarium from our Patreon
Yes.
patrons. These are,
Oh,
I
let's-
believe,
let's hear
$10
'em.
patrons who
Yeah,
get access
$10
to
and up.
who get access to
Yeah.
submit questions on our Discord.
Yeah, so, and we do Bennettarium every 2 months, so I've got a nice amount of questions. Sorry, I wasn't close to the mic. Got a lot of questions. Should we dive right in?
yeah.
Mm.
Wait, no.
Yeah.
Dive
Oh, no.
right in.
All right.
Step right out. Questions gonna be answered.
I feel like we had a whole build up to it. I don't know why we like talking about the questions. Like, no, let's hold off on them.
Okay, first question comes from AJ. Asks, if you guys could do a collab with another band again, like you did with The Cog is Dead and Professor Elemental, who would you want to collab with? Could you give one realistic answer, like a band on the same popularity scale, genre, style, etc., and one fantasy answer? Basically, any band or group at all you'd like to perform alongside.
Fantasy answer.
Oh,
Oh, sorry, it keeps going black. When I check
The Weeknd? I don't know.
The Weekend.
Just something totally out of left field.
Queen. Can we do it? Can we do
Yeah.
a fantasy album with Queen and Adam Lambert? I just
Sure.
want to sit in a room with Brian May and John Deacon.
We're gonna trick.
And
We're gonna
Rob
trick.
Taylor.
We're gonna trick the lunch machine to give us lunch with Freddie Mercury and
The lunch
and then we'll bring
machine.
it.
was a question on a
Boy,
previous
that's a
podcast that we
callback.
keep bringing back. Just in
And
case
then
anyone's
we'll get to
wondering.
play with Freddie Mercury. You gotta watch the entire podcast.
Otherwise, you
need to know.
never understand it.
I think it'd be cool to do as far as a realistic one, I think it'd be cool to do something with Frenchie and the Punk. They've wanted to.
I love
It's just
that.
we're two different because they focus so much on their live show. It's they do so many live shows all the time. I don't know what they're
Yeah.
up to now, but
I would say realistic. Also, the Cog is Dead or the John who's like the lead.
yeah,
Would be cool.
he actually we were talking recently because we share some stuff that we're working on and he said, "Oh, I still owe you guys for something on one of your albums." I'm like, "Yeah," because we did his Incredible Jelly Donut Juicer song
Yeah.
with Sam and
Yeah.
us, and but we were doing Vice Quadrant and Steam World Heist at the time, so we were like, we don't have anything, unfortunately.
Yeah. But he's a great guy. I think he could easily fit in with, and like a realistic performance could be done with him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Next question comes from Cab. If anyone from the SPG universe existed in real life, who would you want it to be?
I mean, any robot would be pretty amazing. That would just artificial intelligence that like works. Like, that's crazy.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, knowing the robots, it would be pretty terrifying.
Just don't ask for Gigi.
Yeah.
You'll wake up with your liver missing.
So, are we all in agreement? No Gigi?
I guess I needed it. I don't
Does that answer the question?
Yeah, if any SPG
I'm gonna eat it
universe
with
character
fava
could be real,
beans.
who would it be? Not Gigi. That's the answer.
I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied.
Joe asks, do you all have any tips or tricks for learning how to sing while playing an instrument?
Walk with it. Walk with your
Get
instrument.
good.
And play it. Walk and play and sing. Walking.
Just keep
because
doing
when you're walking, you're doing a lot of things unconsciously. And once you start getting that rhythm, you'll start feel it in your body. But that's what I did for a long time because it's very.
And make sure you just always carry your instrument, and while you're walking and talking, just take out your instrument at inopportune times to annoy your friends.
Also, learn your instrument to a fault. So you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about this.
Love your
because I'm thinking
instrument.
about both
Take
of them.
it into your bedroom and cuddle. Spooning. Find out if your instrument likes to be the big spoon or the small spoon.
When I remember back, it was at a parent's house back when I was like in high school and stuff. Learning guitar for the first time. I was probably junior in high school, so I'd picked it up pretty late, I suppose. And I had that issue. I couldn't sing and play at the same time, and I was still just learning chords and stuff. And yeah, I remember. I just have a distinct memory of like feeling like I can't do both. And I picked one song and I just kept at it. And yeah, the only way that I could start singing it was when I didn't have to think about what chords and stuff. And I mean, you still think about them, but so I would just pick like an easy song where you know the chords and just learn that chord without singing, and you're mumbling and trying to look at the same time. Eventually, this part will come second nature, and then you can focus on this.
Yeah.
So now you can imagine how hard it is with trying to do the robot. And you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot, and especially if you're doing a new song, because I think even with us, like, a lot of stuff is muscle memory. Like we can definitely BS a lot of stuff on stage, but some of the music stuff, like, you just have to know it, unfortunately, because you can't really pull that out. Most people can't anyways. I'm sure there's talented people who can.
It's hard. Like, even when I'm playing the guitar, which a keyboard I think is kind of easy. But it's the same kind of practice, it's just like you just have to keep doing it. But even then, like, if I have to, as I'm trying to jerk and do the robot motion, sometimes I'll miss a chord or something just because it's hard. It's hard.
The easiest one.
And you also have all this. Yeah, you have all this gear on. You have all this makeup on. Like, we didn't think this through.
It was definitely easier when like Balboa Park days, because there was less to focus on. Now we're focusing on here's the tempo, here's the click track, here's the there's a lot going on, but it's okay. I mean, we're pretty good at it. I just did it the other I just did the 3 songs the other day with everything, like the show, just with a different mix, and it like clicked for me. I was like, wow, it feels like I'm back in February.
Dang, yeah.
And it sounded even better because I wasn't when we
weren't sick?
well that too, but the tracks that we give our sound guy, our past one, Steve, would be mono, because that's what you use for the live show. You don't mix it in stereo, so I can actually have a stereo actual mix with all the instruments.
Nice.
Playing back, because I'm just listening to the backing tracks.
Dope.
So anyways, that was kind of nice. I fell right into it. I hammered out 3 of them. Honeybee, I forgot how to play, so I had to do a few different takes of that one when I was testing it out.
Cool. All right. Next question is from Lala. For all of you, sorry if you've answered this before, but how do you feel about fans using your music in animations and art projects on YouTube?
It's great.
Oh, yeah. If anyone we have a little blurb on our website under the FAQ on our steampowereddraft.com, and it basically says we're okay with you using any of the songs and stuff, especially if they're released on our own YouTube. You just have to make sure that you let YouTube tag them and monetize
Yeah.
them for us, and that's all we ask.
Yeah.
Kindy asks, silly lore question. What color do the Walter workers turn when they get sunburned? What,
I would guess it would be just horrible burns. if they have that much. I don't know, like
Would it be like a little purple, like the
I was
the
just
red
gonna
and the
say
blue?
it because like the red and blue mixed together is purple, but our skin is white, so I don't know. Probably
what we need to
purple.
find out is what color is the
Lilac.
Walter Worker blood.
I think it would look like bruises. It would look like purple or something.
Purple.
Purple or green or something that looks like a bruise, right?
Yeah, green would be cool too. Like,
You're gonna have to wait for the cartoon
Sounds
to explain
gross.
this.
all right, let's go test this.
I just
theory.
thought their skin was replaced with some other type of material, like
What?
Some-
Walter Robotics replaces skin?
no, but it's not quite regular skin anymore.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
It's just
well,
it's
yeah.
a side hustle.
It's
You know,
like-
so it's easier to think of
Well-
they don't have to have an umbrella or something because it's not technically like they have no pigment in their skin. They just happen
It's just,
to.
oh yeah, I just thought it was.
It's supposed to be
I
like
don't know.
irradiation. That's
Like-
that's
Made
what
out of
that's what
marshmallow.
we initially came up with. Is it's an irradiation that
Yeah.
working with blue matter technology, they eventually
Like-
become pale white and blue.
Yeah.
But you know, someone.
I guess because their skin is like super white, it would just be normal. It would just be like extra red, right?
Yeah,
Wouldn't it
Yeah,
just be, like,
I
I think
super-
it'd probably just be red.
It would probably be like
Unless their blood,
glowing red, like,
unless all their blood and stuff is also like green or blue,
Yeah.
which
I mean,
could be possible.
yeah, I know there's like a fantastical element to it, but I always thought the like pure white skin was just like because of the radiation, like we lost all our pigment or something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe
that's-
they're actually glowing slightly.
Yeah.
White.
Yeah.
You know, someone did. We've had it over the years. I can count. I remember two people of color who did a Walter Worker thing, and they made the skin like kind of gray. And I thought, oh, that's kind of
Yeah, they
We
like,
actually
did
did that. We did that in the comics too. We saw that and we're like, yeah, that makes sense.
So
That's
it's
cool.
kind of more like it's monochroming your.
Oh yeah,
skin-
yeah.
Your palette.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not so because if a person of color lost all their pigment, they would just turn white. That's
Essentially,
how
yeah.
Or being
skin
a-
works.
Or yeah, like sometimes you get like red, like almost like a reddish color. Or,
Yeah, I thought that was fun seeing fans get really creative. That's the.
So I think it is more like an unnatural like.
something more magical.
It's something that changes the properties where your eyes are catching the light or something. It's something like that where it's like maybe the white doesn't actually like affect them too much, but like
Yeah, 'cause
it's like
this is clown
it changes
white.
the property of their skin. Yeah, like because
it really
there's no
is.
such thing as color, but they definitely would have to lose pigment for how white they are or something. But
you know.
it's fun to think about. This is stuff that you know, an advanced lore and stuff would be interesting to delve into. It has never been a priority.
Think of the science behind it. You know, I think like that's
It's
always
fun.
an interesting part about it. You know, yeah.
Someone in the Vimeo chat said that they saw someone do dark blue skin for.
I think it could be any.
But see, we
Whatever
can't
you
do that
want.
because we actually have a race in Kazoo Land called Nightcrawlers, and and they're Nightcrawler from X-Men, and there's lots of them.
Are they just based off of Nightcrawler?
Yeah, but you
They're
know
all
they
just
look
Nightcrawler.
different.
For real?
enough. No, yes, yes it is. And they look. you ever
Because
seen-
Nightcrawler is the coolest X-Men by
They-
far.
You ever
They
seen that those ads from Curb Your Enthusiasm or whatever that show is, where it's just
Arrested
like
Development?
it's like
Or
everyone
no?
is it has the same face.
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
That's
I
what
was
it is.
thinking of
Everyone's
Tobias.
a Nightcrawler. So like the baby is a Nightcrawler, the mom is
They
a
look
Nightcrawler,
just slightly
and they all look just
different
like
enough
Nightcrawler.
that we're not going to we wouldn't get sued.
Oh my god.
This is not true.
Like
We're
maybe they just
pulling
have like
stuff out of our
giant cat
butts.
heads or something.
All right. Next question is from Kelsey. If you all got $1 million each and could use it however you wanted, what would you do with it?
$1 million?
$1 million.
Put in my bank
Wait,
account and
what?
not work.
That's
Ever
what
again?
my answer is.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we would invest
Survival,
in Steve
really.
Hard Draft stuff a little bit,
Yeah.
but to be honest, like
Sure.
I think when people think about $1 million, what could you invest in? Like, well, you couldn't buy a theater. That was not $1
Yeah.
million. It'd be way more expensive. Even the crappiest theater, you know, like
Yeah, it's really not a lot of money. It's not a lot
Not
of money.
this-
You could live comfortably
Unfortunately.
for the rest of your life if you made some smart savings and investments.
Yeah, I think I would try to invest it into something like artistic that I could like. I can then have a different income coming in. Then I can start using that money for other
Invest.
things. You know,
Invest it. That's my answer. Yeah.
If Steam Powered Draft made like an expensive music video, you could easily spend $500,000 on like
Oh yeah.
all that, like the crew
yeah,
and everything, and then you would have a video that doesn't make you money because if you're not popular, what's the point?
I would honestly just sit on it and use it for my expenses. Like,
really.
you could, I mean, maybe you could buy a house if you really wanted to, but probably wouldn't want to buy a house in this economy.
No, I wouldn't either. I mean, not in this state. Like, there's everything's so uncertain. Yeah, I would sit on it too.
I would sit on it and just pay rent and not have to worry about money.
I mean, there's definitely. I would invest in small things for like the company and stuff. Anything that. Sure. Because I mean, I'm an owner, so
new
it don't
camera, new microphone, more googly eyes.
But none of that would make like Steam Powered Draft skyrocket or something. You know, I think it's all just creature comforts. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Yes. That's all I want.
It's expensive to live. Like, I only want money so I can just not think about rent and
it'd be nice to not
amounts of money we pay.
Yeah.
Not that we do have to do that too much in Steam Powered Draft. Like, you know, we do have to think business wise. Like, okay, we should sell our autographs on CDs and stuff like that because it helps pay for the initial run of the CDs and stuff like that. So, you know, it would be nice to, because right now we of course we rely on Patreon and stuff like that to make ends meet. I mean, you know what I mean. Like, Bunny does your own stuff as well. Chelsea has a job. Camille has a job. Brian has jobs. You know what I mean? Like, $1 million would help anyone.
Yeah,
of course.
For sure.
It'd be nice to just be able to focus on.
I think the like, there's so many things that like I would want to get to invest in creating art and stuff like that I just would never ever do. And I think like something like that, like having a backbone of like that, like, okay, well then you could use that kind of stuff to create something that could make more money, and then you could use that money to do some good. You know what I'm saying? Because like $1 million really wouldn't stretch that far, but you could if you invested that money into something that could grow.
If it's seed money.
Then you could use the growth of that to like actually do some sort of good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I can't think of anything art wise because everything Steam Powered Draft can do, we could do with less technology than we have right now. You know what I mean? Like, so I have a hard time imagining what we could actually invest in. I guess I always think about Steam Powered Draft wise.
What about a collaboration? You know what I'm saying? Like, what about like getting a collaboration with like a really cool producer and or a really cool artist? Then all of a sudden you have a relationship. Oh shoot, okay, now I've got this
you paid them, and then they're like,
and it's like, you know, stuff like that. You know, you could use money. You can use money with. You know, I don't know.
I think that's
money can make all our dreams come
$1
true.
million.
That's not true. That's not true. But if you use it right, you know what I'm saying? Like you can do something positive.
That would be the best way to, like, just have the money sitting in the bank account for when inspiration strikes or when you need something.
I just
like I can't. I'm always
Do something positive. Buy a bunch of googly eyes and just stick them around the city.
Spread 'em around the world.
Like I never think about, you know,
Put faces on everything.
if I had money, what would I want right now? I never really think about that. I don't really have anything.
I would blow all my money on gifts for my loved ones. I don't care about money. Like, as much as we want money and like we need it, it's like money is meaningless to me. I don't want money. I don't want money to be a thing in my life.
Well, it's hard when you think
about.
I like
security. I would want it there for when I need it. Yeah.
But like,
the
world that we live in.
until you don't have it, then it means everything.
When
that's it.
That's the thing. Like totally, like the need for money is there, but it's not something I constantly want and think about. It's just something that it's a necessity, you know.
For sure.
Well, it's weird when you when you read about celebrities who have tons of money and you see all the stuff they're doing, like, wow, that'd be really cool to do, and then you look at like how much their income is and how much that project was. You're like, oh, it's because I don't even have the capability to wrap my brain around that. Like, they have other people to work for. I'm like, we do everything ourselves. Like, we're working within I'm working within a budget that's, when I think about Steam Powered Draft, it's bigger than my own budget, of course. But then it's still like so small compared to even like mom and pop shops that that I've worked at before.
Totally.
When I looked at their money, I'm like, wait, that was like 20 years ago, and that company was making more in a week than Steam Powered Draft makes in like 6 months. So it's just, I think why it's hard to think about is like, well, there's nothing in our life that has cost that much money. I mean, and when you think of people who like, oh, they're in college and stuff, and they can't even imagine, like, oh, cool, you have your own apartment and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like it's always. It's all about perspective, I think. Totally.
There's the more money you get honestly, the more you're just gonna have to spend it usually.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
on things you need, or
I feel
especially
like
Steam
buying
Powered
a house
Giraffe,
would be a
we
big
have to spend a
mistake.
lot of money on Steam Powered Giraffe. That it's not money that benefits us personally. It benefits the company.
Yeah, for me anyways, for sure. I mean, there's other things, but I think once you had the money and if you knew you were getting more than $1 million, like if you somehow were able to invest it or keep it or something and make more, like.
But if you're a surly person with a cigar and you want to give us bags of dollar bills on them, like please, like
I mean-
invest in Steam Powered Giraffe.
Also,
I'll break Steam Powered Giraffe $1 million.
If you are a duck that swims in gold,
think what they could
Call
not
us
do
up.
with this. And they could put it in the bank and let it mature.
yeah, I was gonna say like
Uh,
one of my stereotypical answers would be like, obviously I'd buy my parents a new house, but we live in San Diego, so that would literally be like all
Would do
all of
nothing,
it.
yeah.
That would there'd be nothing. I was like, okay, buy $1 million.
and it wouldn't be a nice house. It would just be a
Yeah.
house, and that they would have had to spend their whole lives paying off. But you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
buy it in
It
one
doesn't
go.
even
So.
have AC.
At
Doesn't
this
have
point,
AC,
like
and you gotta fix it up.
there's nothing wrong with their current house. So even though that's the stereotypical answer, like I'd buy my parents a new house, I'd basically just like, here's all the money you want to renovate your current house.
But
I would just rent. There's nothing that's going to convince me that buying a house is a smart idea.
Well, yeah, not
Right
not in,
now.
especially not where we live. But also,
If you want to do that and you have a passion for it, that's a little different. Like some people just really like, if you could,
Like
if like the
flipping.
challenge of like, yeah, flipping and stuff. It's like that's that
I think
takes
the
a certain
the
caliber of
perspective has
person.
changed since the quarantine, definitely for me. Because like before, the thought was like, oh yeah, theater, like have a performance space for Steam Powered Draft, be able to
Oh,
shoot
yeah.
things there. Like it's not much, but like you know what you can do with
But
a
in
big.
this-
You can do a lot with a big space, and we don't
But
have. big
imagine if we
spaces.
had that. Imagine
Having
if we
a
had that
studio.
during the pandemic, and then we'd be like, great,
Yeah.
we have no use for this thing except to shoot videos.
There's a few YouTube channels I follow who like open their own studios and stuff because they did interviews and stuff, and they're like, we have to close this down. This is we can't. No one's gonna come and do the interviews here now, and so that would exactly what would happen. Like if we had that, and how would you make money to keep that place open, or if you're paying rent or I don't know if you're paying
You have to live in the theater.
a mortgage or something on I don't. But that's
It's
where
not worth
that's where
it.
I used to go.
We shouldn't get a theater. We shouldn't. Yeah.
Not in this, not
Unless
in
we're
this
like
time.
millionaires ourselves, ain't gonna buy a theater.
Yeah. Now that's just putting it in my savings account. It's sounding better and better.
But totally, I think opening a theater would make the most sense because it's like you
Totally.
hire people to run it. Like I feel like I could do that in a sense because running Steam Powered Draft a little bit. It's like I have some money wise stuff going on, but not that I know much about theater stuff. But I mean I do. But there's plenty of people out there who would love to run a theater.
But even then, we'd spend probably most of our time renting it out for other productions.
Other people, yeah.
For sure.
But
And,
that's good
making
though,
money.
because that's the income. That's
Yeah.
income coming in, and you're getting cool relationship with people who are coming through. It's like
Yeah.
you can do whatever shows you want to do. So if you want to do a run of a play, you could do that for a month, and then you could have music acts coming through. Whatever you want to do, a puppet acts, a whole season of puppets.
I love puppets.
I love puppets too.
when you
That's
look
what
at something
I'm
like
saying. I legit want a puppet show. So.
You look at something like the Spreckles and you're like, oh, it's up for sale. And how much is it? Well, I think we're going to need like 5 different benefactories giving us $1 million
we'll
each.
need 5. Yeah, we'll need 5 Monopoly men with top hats, please.
And when you look at that theater, you're like, well, it's okay, but it's not great.
It's,
It's historic,
Oh my
I suppose.
It's the previous owner had it I don't know, signed over or something. Like she locked it in as a historical landmark, and that's why it hasn't been torn down yet. The Spreckles Theater
Well,
in
that's
San Diego.
Interesting.
But it needs to be demolded because it's a moldy stinky stink.
So basically,
Full of
you'd spend
mold. Yeah.
millions of dollars on it, and then you'd have to do lots of renovations.
Yeah, lots of
Yeah.
renovation. Yeah, which is cool. Like I do love the theater, but like, who has that kind of money? Who has that
And
kind
I
of-
wonder how much it would cost to just construct your own theater. In San Diego, it would be impossible. Like
Yeah.
the land would be
You
more than $1 million.
You couldn't. You'd have to be born into money or marry into money or something, or be like this rich tycoon to be able to do that kind of stuff.
I feel like Dr. Evil, like $1 million. Actually, Dr. Evil, $1 million isn't really that much in today's.
Times that by 10.
Still enough. $1 million. I'd be happy with $1 million. Just,
Yeah, for sure.
I would live the rest of my life super comfortable.
Well, isn't it? It's weird to think that we all kind of know our yearly income, like an average of sorts, and then now you think, when are you gonna make your first $1 million? When I'm dead, I'm not gonna make it. There's no way I'm gonna reach that.
Like doing the calculations, it's like $1 million would be my entire life.
I look at Steam Powered Giraffe, and I'm like, it could be possible with Steam Powered Giraffe at the end of our life, like how much, but that's collectively, like how many people have come through, how many royalties we're paying people, like it's possible with Steam Powered Giraffe for sure, but like, it's like that it's so hard to fathom how much money $1 million is.
If this cartoon comes together, maybe we'll get closer, but I don't think we're going to become millionaires.
It's a $6 million cartoon, I'll tell you.
There's no way.
And
it would be nice. We'd be a little bit more comfortable, and that's what would matter.
But yeah, if you had an excess amount of money, like, I totally get why people become philanthropic and stuff. Like, it makes complete sense, because after a certain point, okay, you have a nice house, you've supported all your family and whatnot, you've probably given so many opportunities to your friends and stuff, like with any companies you start up and all that, and now, what are you gonna do? Like, so look at Bill Gates. He spent more of his time giving to charity than he has with Microsoft or anything, I think, and it's
he's done a lot.
And of course, people only see him for, dang it, Bill Gates creating Microsoft, an evil company or something. Even though, I don't know, it's just a weird. It's all perspective, I suppose.
Sure, yeah.
Anyway, this was a long question.
Next question. Michaela asks, for Bunny, David, Chelsea, and Camille, how do you work in that close of proximity with your sibling day in and day out and not get infuriated with them? My sister and I can't go a day without arguing.
I don't live with David anymore, so that's not really. And now I don't have to see him at all. So it's like,
and we did live together because it only made sense financially.
But we were growing up and we realized that this is not healthy, and we got our own places, and I think that really helped us.
Yeah, especially once we
secure our individuality.
Once we were going to know we were going to like live away from each other, like it all kind of clicked. We were like, oh, okay, yeah, because there's so many stresses of like you can't turn off the business stuff, you can't turn off the creative stuff. There's just always someone there who's also the owner of the company. You know what I mean? Like, you like to think that you
don't have to live
a balance, but
it definitely not living together has helped us immensely. Like, not that if we had to, I'm sure we'd be like, I guess we can live together in times of the hardship, but like, it would be the very last thing to go. Like, I feel like I would not want to destroy my relationship with
and plus,
my,
like,
my
we're
brother
by
just
living
with him.
Any other siblings, like, we bicker and stuff all the
time. Oh, we do, totally.
I mean, we have our whole lives examples, but like, it's not the majority of the time.
But you guys definitely see each other day in and day out, I guess.
I was going to say, I think me and Camille answered this question on a previous Bennettarium and talked about it, but everyone's an individual case. For us, it's kind of the opposite, where like we've lived and worked together our entire lives, like since we were kids. So it just comes naturally. Of course, when we were choreographing the dances for SPG together and stuff, like, of course, there's some disagreements here and there, but I mean, really, it's kind of just smooth sailing for us because we don't know any other way. We've existed together in the same space and worked together since we were kids. So I don't have there's no obstacles or hurdles we have to get over in that regard. It'd be harder for us to like not live and work together.
What about you, Brian? Have you ever worked with any of your siblings?
No, but I did live with my bass player for a little bit. So like that was definitely something. I mean, just there's something about like being able to turn off the creativity stuff, especially it's invaluable. And I think living together, it was always like, well, should we do something else? Should we do something else? It's like, nah, man, I can't even. Like, I need space away from it. Otherwise, I'll just get frustrated with it. I'll just get, it'll turn into something that never leaves.
That's how we felt too with anyone in Steam Powered Draft. They're like, hey, we should move in. Like, it was always like Bunny and I, like Sam, we were like, no, that's like the worst thing you can do because.
Yeah,
I've been roommates with Sam before. I've been roommates with Bunny. Like, it works. You can make anything work, but it's like you need that rest from your brain. It's hard enough to work at your own place and divide because I can't turn it off. I haven't figured it out yet. Like, I sit in bed, I'll get an email, bam, I have to take care of that customer service.
My computer turns into this is a workstation. I sometimes avoid it. Like, even though it has like all these cool fun things on it, it's like it's primarily for work over here.
Yeah.
So throw in someone else. It's not that it's like that unspoken pressure that
living with Jerica, even that's going to be a little bit like we're very like, since I'm working with her a lot now to do our own streaming stuff. It's like we're going to need breaks from it and stuff, and there's going to have to be hard caps on, but yeah, it's a challenge, and I think it's worth it
for sure. Yeah,
I guess I kind of see it like a marriage, even though we're not married. It's gonna be that, it can be that intense,
Yeah, but you live together, so that's like, that's what marriage is.
Yeah, we live together and we're doing creative stuff together. It's gonna be a challenge, but we're up for it.
You're partners. You're locked in. I like it. Beautiful.
All right. Next question is from Mikey. Which fictional character do you think would be the most fun to trade places with for a week, and why?
Not Gigi.
Any fictional character.
No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know, a Time Lord? I don't know. Anyone in Star Trek or Star Wars?
Yeah, I never have an answer.
There's so many fictional characters that have tragic stories, so I'm like,
She-Ra?
yeah, I think I'd take my boring life over there. I have 8 hearts life. 3 hearts. I don't know how many hearts Time Lords have.
Is it just for a day? Is for a day or is it forever?
For a week. Which fictional character would you like to be for a week?
Superman.
Doctor Who,
mean,
because
yeah,
then I could have any. I could go anywher for that week, and that week could last billions of years because
True.
time
No,
travel.
that's Doctor Who's pretty good.
Be a
Pretty good
time
answer too. Pretty good answer. I say Superman because Superman can also travel through time.
Do you turn into him? Like, no one's going to remember, like, weren't you Superman last week? Because if that's the case...
No,
does he have all the problems?
No one...
Do I have to,
And
like,
which
fight
Superman
everybody?
are we turning into? A comic book, a movie version?
Does that mean
Like-
Superman gets my body?
Can it be like
Yeah.
Superman, but like in my life, but I'm just chilling, like I just got all his powers,
Look,
like
you don't...
a week, and I'm just like,
You don't want his powers because then you have accountability for after you lose them.
Oh.
Because I would want to go fix a bunch of things, and you can't really, but you could try. And then once your powers are gone, you're like, well, that wasn't me, that was Superman. Oh man, he did all that.
what a monster!
The whole GOP's in jail. What happened? How did he do it?
Wait,
I mean, obviously, if
Who's
you're
in
going to be a
jail?
fictional character, you'd want to be like a god, right? I guess my answer is I'd be a Q from Star Trek.
A Q.
Yeah.
Q?
from
You
The
wanna
Q
be- a Q would
continuum?
be great.
You want to be all knowledgeable.
Oh, all knowing, do anything. Yeah.
And then but this is what happened. You go,
Yeah,
But then you have to be held
go
accountable by
crazy.
other cues.
Yeah, are you gonna be all snarky like Q?
I always wondered if
just, like,
Riker had
mess with
kept the
people?
Q power in that first season episode, like, would they just have accepted him into being a Q, or it was all just a farce?
that's
Was they going to
why-
take power away from
Test.
him?
That's what I
It
love
felt
about
like
the
a
Q,
test.
though, is because, like, they're like trickster gods, basically. Like, they don't have any rules. They don't,
Yeah,
you know,
but he
it's
brought
like...
he brought the Borg upon us. He brought
they
the
do.
Borg upon
Yeah, I
us.
mean,
Hey,
they do have
spoilers!
rules.
Once you
I'm only in
get
episode
But
13.
you know what I mean? Like,
once that week's over, your human mortal brain
How you on
you'd
episode
feel so
of
you'd feel like nothing would be enough.
Yeah.
yeah.
You'd
I
feel
just
like
started-
Starting it right now?
Well,
But
no,
we're
I had
not
just started
talking
it,
about
and I just
consequences
finished.
of afterwards.
I just finished the original series. I might have a couple more episodes of season 3, and then I'm going to move on to the animated series, which is actually a canonical continuation of the original series, but with better aliens because it's a cartoon.
Of Next Generation?
No,
Oh,
of
the
the original series had
yes.
an
Yes.
an
Okay, I
Emmy-winning cartoon that is
I
amazing.
do remember.
There's a lot of
this now.
memes
Yeah.
made out of that. Floating around the internet.
It's good. I started watching, and I was like, this is just the show continued, and it's
Nice.
Yeah.
great.
So yeah, I'd say Superman too, because
Superman!
Not Superman 1, Superman 2.
yeah.
Next question is from Little
a better movie.
Macarons. Little Macarons asks, who's the best robot and why is it Gigi?
I think Gigi can get away with anything because she's just adorable, right?
I guess it's kind of like how a kitten gets away with things in a sort of
I
eventually.
guess.
I mean, that's what they are. It's like, imagine if your pet could talk.
Is Gigi
That's what
even a
Gigi is.
giraffe? Like she's not the size of a baby giraffe, and she's not the size of her head is
like a
bigger
size
than.
of a-
I'm sure there's
Size
fan
of a
fiction
dog.
where
Her
Gigi
head is the size of like an adult giraffe.
where
almost.
Gigi's like, I want to be a human, and then that happened in a fan fiction. I guarantee it. I didn't have any read any, but I know
in
it
our
happened.
in our cartoon, Gigi becomes human.
Why would she want that? She doesn't want to be. So she can be an what is that? Equestria,
I think it would be
Equestria
like
girl
that
or
Bender
whatever.
episode. Remember that Bender episode where he becomes human, he kills himself by overeating? That's what would happen.
Equestria girls. Is that what it was?
folds.
You know what I'm talking about?
What?
My Little
Which is-
Pony.
yeah.
Equestria
Yeah,
girls.
rolling those
No, I don't know
phones.
what you're talking about.
When the My Little Pony
What?
people, My Little Ponies turned into humans.
That's not.
Oh.
Well,
What?
technically, you're not. You don't know the lore. That's actually an
Okay,
alternate
the lab.
dimension.
mind.
I don't know anything
They've
about My Little
always
Pony.
been humans in that one, so
I'm still. I was born in '89. All I know about My Little Pony is like the '90s cartoon. There's. They turn into humans.
All I know is that
I am
dope
5
song.
seasons in. I know everything there is to know about My Little Pony.
Well, let's hope that there's
Oh!
a question on the Bennettarium about
Wait
it.
a minute. I remember watching something. The Toys That Made Us.
The Toys That Made Us,
Now
yeah.
I remember they
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
touched on that cartoon, and I was like, "What is that?"
Equestragals, or I don't know what it's called.
Ew.
That one was horrible. I watched it. The movie was okay. It's about one of the ponies going into this alternate dimension where all her friends are humans, and then she has to. It's dumb. It's some people like it. Not for me.
Next question. Oh, this question is from Esme, and they ask if you could be any fictional character, who would you be and why? And we just did that.
Wait,
so.
it's the same question that someone else
It's the
asked?
same question. I should have read ahead. They just
Well,
asked
if
the
they
same
gotta,
question. So.
I can think of another one. Nightcrawler. But Superman
Oh,
has more
Nightcrawler.
powers than Nightcrawler, so.
Yeah.
But as an
I wanna
alternate,
be-
I mean Nightcrawler.
Wait, what was the question?
If you could be any fictional character, who would you be and why?
I could get a lot done with
It's
Nightcrawler,
a
too.
different-
Isn't this just like the week,
it-
but instead of a week for the rest of our lives?
I
Yeah.
guess so.
Superman.
It wasn't specified.
Here's mine. I want to be Pippin. Pippin from Lord of the Rings, because he doesn't do anything. He just like
Yeah.
messes around the whole time. He gets taken on this journey, and then he comes back and he's just like the king. He's like, "Yo,
yeah.
yay, Pippin, yeah!" Like he doesn't have any PTSD. He's like, "Oh, like the war was great. Like I got these ants. They just destroyed it. I was just on the shoulder."
I met a tree beard.
If I'm remembering my Tolkien lore right, Pippin is buried in Gondor, right? I think they take him to Gondor.
Because he was.
That's true.
He sang that
That's
song, and they're
true.
like, "What a beautiful voice." I think maybe Wonder Woman or something
Buried
like
like a
that.
king.
Captain
Buried like
Marvel.
a
I don't
king.
know, like something with badass powers.
Sure, any of the Superman-esque powers. I don't want to be Dr. Manhattan because it's too tragic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
I mean, Superman's
I want to
tragic,
be. I want to be Penance. That the one that has to inflict pain upon himself to get his powers. No, that'd be
Who's
horrifying.
that?
Oh my
but
god.
he's a Marvel character.
Marvel.
He is an amazing. He used to be like this. No, he's just. Is he a mutant? I think he might be a mutant, but he's just like he was this wacky character, called the Speed. He was like a. What was he called? Speedball or something? And then he just went through this transformation where he got this horrible curse put upon him. And like he literally has this armor that is like an Iron Maiden that sticks into his skin. So as he feels pain, that's how his powers come from. He's so cool. He's so edgelord.
You know what I want? I want like Elastic Man or like Plastic Man powers, where like you
Yeah.
can stretch and also you can like turn into like different people. Like
And wear really
you can,
deep V-neck and goggles.
shape yourself in different ways, but like in sneaky ways. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like there's a lot you could do with Elastic Man powers. That would be fun.
You'd have like the little gray twinge on the side of your.
Yeah, and I could turn myself into a spring and bounce places. What doing? What doing? Or like,
Why do you want to be
you
could be an
really
orange
long
turd
legs.
like the Thing.
I don't want to be the Thing. The Thing sucks. This is the Rock.
But you have to be the one from the Fantastic Four movie.
No, wait, which one? Which awful one? Which awful Fantastic Four movie?
I don't know. The Thing looked pretty bad. I don't know. I thought the Thing looked okay in the new one, but
Yeah, but they
was a bad movie.
Butchered his character. They butchered
Yeah.
everyone's character. They were like, all right, here's these fantastic characters. How do we make them as boring as possible and have them do nothing? The entire movie.
God,
Let's,
that movie
all right,
was-
Stop doing things. Do nothing.
I thought there was parts of it that were like, yeah, this almost works, but
Yeah, but then it doesn't.
I walked out of the theater after it and I was like, wow, that was bad.
Man, it was like leading up to something and then it was like nothing. Just nada.
I kind of like the Doctor Doom. I mean, he was dumb looking, but like I like the idea of how he got his powers. Like,
Yeah.
there's things to love in that movie, but it's not worth.
I
your
think I saw
time.
the Red Letter Media review of it,
Yeah.
but other than that, I didn't watch it.
It's bad.
Yes,
it's bad.
it's not-
Just honestly, watch Rise of the Silver Surfer. That's probably the best
I've
Fantastic
seen that
Four
one.
film.
It was okay.
Which isn't saying much.
It
yeah.
wasn't. it wasn't-
How about instead of that, watch the Silver Surfer animated series from 1998. That's good stuff.
The Final Fantasy had a Final Fantasy. Fantastic Four had a Same thing.
Same thing.
Because Fantastic Four also had a number of cartoons that I remember watching as a kid. They were pretty good.
They're all on like Disney Plus. That's like.
You remember? There was the kid thing or something where he would have this little. Then he said like thing ring, do your thing, and then he would turn into an adult turd, and he would turn into the thing.
Yeah,
I was like,
what? How did that happen? How did they let that like lore happen? Of like he could change in and out of it whenever he wanted. Thing ring, do you? It's clobbering time. I remember that.
He turns into it's basically like Shazam, but instead of turning into like Shazam, you turn into a giant orange poop.
Next question.
All right, next question.
Yeah, why was he orange? What rocks are orange? I'm sorry. Is he Cheeto Puffs?
This is the question that broke us.
Stale Cheeto Puffs?
Yes.
Thing ring, do your thing. All the rocks would like come flying at him too. Like he's just dead. He's just a corpse underneath rocks.
Oh god!
It's clobbering time.
Okay, next question is from Lovebound. What do you like putting in your burritos? Burrito bowls don't count, but I'll allow them some love here. Wait, I'm having deja vu. Didn't we answer this once or no?
Oh
yes,
yeah, yes, but it was a voice chat for $100 patrons.
Oh,
and they
okay.
asked if they could leave it up for the Bennettarium. We're like, sure, why not?
I was like, wait, what?
So
What do
obviously,
you like
I
putting-
only want to put burrito bowls in my burrito. No, I'm just kidding.
Just the whole bowl instead of tortilla.
I mean, it depends on where you're going. Like, definitely gonna want some queso in there if they got queso. Definitely gonna want some fajita peppers if they got fajita peppers. Lots of cheese. So Fritas or beans because I don't eat meat. What else is in there? I don't know, like maybe a mild salsa if I'm feeling it.
California burrito. Let's just do California burritos.
California burritos would be good.
Guacamole.
All right, let me
down the street.
Let me bust out my alternative California burrito. So it's carnitas, but it's got to be crispy carnitas.
Ooh.
We got the French fries in there.
I'm not really big on pork.
I've got a side of guac. It's not in the burrito. It's on the side. I got the cheese in there, and I got the beans in there. That's my burrito.
I am
That sounds
all
good.
about carnitas.
I just don't like pork. I don't know why.
I do.
Yeah, but
It's so good.
Have you had like really good
Yeah,
carnitas?
I mean,
though?
I understand why people like it. I just don't. I don't know. It's one of those
I
things
get
that
it.
I could leave behind. I'm like,
Yeah.
I could go without bacon.
If,
I don't care.
if I had to give up one beef or pork, I would give up beef. Pork's much better.
Oh,
I mean,
interesting.
Just saying.
I gave up
That's my
all
personal
the
preference.
things.
I'm hungry now.
I never get to eat out anymore.
Take that.
I know.
Well,
No,
you
it's-
say San Diego.
No. Guess who just added? Guess who just added vegetarian to their menu in terms of fast food? Del Taco actually has some good soy tacos and they're pretty fresh.
Oh,
They're really good.
Right.
They've had them for like a year now.
Yeah, I was surprised.
They're
like,
good.
Because if I'm gonna eat out, sometimes I'm just like I want something cheap and easy, and it's either Burger King, Taco Bell, or now Del Taco because they all have vegetarian options.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. This comes from Goldie. How do you canonically pronounce Bisile? Is it Bisile, Bessel, like vessel, or something else?
It's like imbecile.
Yeah, I said.
That's the
did
origin
I say
of the
it right?
name.
Yeah,
Bisile?
yeah.
You did,
Okay.
yeah.
We I don't know. I think I kind of want to. I don't know if we talked about this, but I kind of want to
It's
change their name.
It's a holdover.
Like,
it probably
it's
will.
a holdover name.
When that
we didn't create the name Basile.
yeah, it was from our mime instructor when he did it. He put up a show for us and he wanted us to do it, and he chose that name. We were like, okay.
If there was anything that I could do,
It's supposed
because
to
I
be
don't
like
think
a
in the
pun.
comics it really matters. I think that if we're going to retcon anything, it would be the name Basile. I just think it's a little. It doesn't. The pun doesn't continue on generationally.
Let's
you know,
see
so
what
it's not even
Netflix
funny.
tells us we
Oh,
have
yeah.
to change it to.
What?
Let's
Sorry,
wait and see what
what's that?
Netflix says we have to change it to.
That's what I'm. No. We shouldn't even do Basile. That's just. It's a joke that only works if you have someone named Ignatius Montgomery Basile. Then it's
Their initials
I am
have to be
Basile,
I am.
and then if you say it fast enough, it kind of gets the joke across. I'm Basile. Imbecile. It's not funny. It's funny for one character for one joke.
I've always pronounced that word imbecile.
Yeah, it's
Is that-
imbecile.
So is it even?
Whatever,
is it
imbecile.
right?
But I
Imbecile.
think our
but
mime instructor
Bisile
was just
sounds like a name.
trying to make it
Bissell,
sound like a name.
I guess.
It's not something we would have come up with. It's not really
That
our
was
humor.
that was in his back pocket for a minute. He was like, "Yeah."
It's an old kind of joke. Yeah. But we'd probably change it. So don't get married to the Basial.
Don't even
I
get
mean,
married
I know.
to the robots or anything like that. We could. They could.
Do not marry
We could get
robots.
turned into vampires. You know, by
I'm
Netflix.
married
Like,
now.
like, okay, we love the show, but can we change the robots to be vampires? And we're like, yeah, okay.
They're
yes.
zombies. They're all zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Mechanical zombies.
Thank you for reminding us to change it. Everyone can blame you now for. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I think we've discussed about this before that we don't really like that name, and that's honestly why we haven't done much with them, because I mean we do mention it here and there in the comics, but like not enough that we can't just go, let's just change that last name.
All right. Next question is from Frankie. What's everybody's favorite thing about each other and about yourselves? Oh wow.
I like
Holy
Brian's
crap.
can-do attitude with positivity. I like David's can-do attitude with positivity. I'm just kidding. That's not me. David is
That's not me at all.
David is a hard worker.
Very
Yes,
broad
and
And
question.
he's really patient and caring, and Chelsea's amazing and has a good head on her shoulders and
thank
really
you.
talented. And I like my ability to constantly improve myself, even when I'm not doing the best self-care.
That's great.
I think we had a question like this before. You've all heard my.
It was like the
We did.
first one that we did, and we all got real gushy on it.
I'll
Yeah.
try
Very
not
nice.
to say the same thing that Bunny did about Brian, but yeah, I like Brian's positive attitude. It brings some savory stuff to the saltiness that I bring to the table.
Working with Brian has totally changed the way, like, he was, when we put Brian in, I wasn't on meds yet, but like, he was like the first taste of like, oh, you can kind of just be wholesome and still have your morals and values, and that stuck with me while I was getting help.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Brian's really genuine of a person, which I can't say with some of the other folks we worked with, but also like genuine to like a T of like, you know, there's no ulterior motives there. And you know, I mean, and also like Sam, bless his heart, you know, he's positive in his own way, but he's not Brian positive. And I think you know, we've all worked together with Sam and stuff too, 10-year show and all that stuff, and even he says the same thing, you know. So you probably hear this for your whole life. Your mom probably tells you it every day.
that I'm super positive.
Well, you know what I mean. Like it's genuine. It's like it's not like you're not
It's
just saying honeyed
infectious.
words, you know.
That's very sweet of you guys to say, and I like that both of you are very honest in general and very open people. And I think that immediately I latched onto you two the minute I saw you. I was like, I don't know what it is, but like you remind me so much of my cousin Brandon. I think I've told you this before. It's just somebody I've always connected with, and I think watching you guys perform and being able to perform with you, I've just like I've fallen in love with your creativity and your minds. The way they work individually and the way they work together it's amazing. And I remember sitting in that old like ballet studio, running through town, you know, with doing improv stuff like to ourselves, and seriously, it being some of the most fun, creative, funny. It was some of the best stuff I've ever been a part of. You know, it was like I feel like we created an entire world, and like being able to do that with you two has been incredible. And then now we're doing all sorts of stuff now, and that's like it's does my heart good. And Chelsea, good Lord, I love you. You're such a sweet individual, and I mean, you're opening my eyes to lots of cool things in the dance world that I didn't even know about. Yeah, seriously though, like I really have this like weird thing about ballet. I didn't really know nothing about it, and like seeing like it through your eyes and seeing how much joy it brings you, and seeing like you talk about the lines of the dancers and how they move and stuff like that really like sparked up some stuff. in me.
Someday I'll get you to a show that's not the Nutcracker.
Yo, I want to so badly though.
Yeah.
We got the Nutcracker tickets. They're on our wall. They're sitting
Oh
on
really?
our wall.
Oh.
Yeah, because it was like such a fun. It was like such a
It was
fun. It was
fun.
such a sweet thing to let us into that kind of world.
As a dancer, there's a lot of baggage that comes with the Nutcracker. Like
Yeah.
personally, you know, me and Camille are like kind of embarrassed. We don't want people from outside the ballet world to see the Nutcracker because it doesn't really reflect the
Sure.
goings
I
on and
can
the
see.
day in and day out of like the craft and everything. It's a commercial thing that you have to do to survive as a company. So it's like, but it's fun. It's also at the same time, it's like it's this holiday tradition that we can't miss out on. Like, I don't know. It's just it's fun.
I'll say something
man.
about Bunny and Chelsea now, so people don't be like, wait, they didn't say anything about.
Oh yeah.
So with Bunny, I'll make it a little more personal and be like, I enjoy that I have someone to share this life with who is of like mind, because we went through the same crap as children and stuff, and it'd be hard not to want to work with you because there's our damages are kind of the same in some regard, and it's nice to share someone who gets it, like without even, I know we talk and stuff a lot, but like it's just so nice to have someone who like they understand. We understand where the trauma comes from. We understand why we think the way we do, and so it when I talk to you about stuff, I'm actually talking to myself in a way, so it's like easier to talk through things because even though I might not be going through what you're going through at the same time, like I remember me going through similar stuff, or when you say the same thing back to me when I need help, like it's like I don't know.
We're cut from the same cloth.
Yeah,
like,
I mean we're twins, so
we
it
have our
makes
own
sense,
lives, we have
but-
our own damages, but like when at the end of the day, no one's gonna be my brother, like thank you. Yeah. And I think like just in general, genuineness is something that I covet, and like that's what I look for in people is like I don't want to see what I see in some other people where it's just like falsehoods and like there's nothing that I'm embarrassed to share or talk about. Like that's the kind of people I like, where it's like, because I have like really big trust issues. And like, you guys make that so much easier.
I think we can also agree, like, people like Sam that we work with. I mean, even though he's I wouldn't say he's surly, but he's very honest.
He could be abrasive, but honestly,
it's refreshing.
It's
like,
better than the alternative.
I don't like
Sam
wondering
a lot.
what someone's got going on
Where
behind
you
their head.
stand.
Yeah.
Like if Sam had a problem, he'd bring it right to us.
Yeah. So, I just like Sam how quick he is too. Like, I feel like so many people have a canned response for everything you say. And he never does. It's always something.
He subverts your expectations. He calls you out in your shit. Like, yeah.
And for Chelsea, sorry, this is a long question. There's a lot of dynamics going on.
How?
Go on.
This will be as far as like working together and stuff. Like I couldn't ask for someone better who sees what I've already been doing in my life and then somehow has found a way to help. Not only with the jobs that you started doing before we were even together and stuff, but like that you continue to do, and that you put up with my bullshit and my stress and anxieties and stuff, and that you let me do that, and then I can continue to work after that. Like I'm, even though it's one of those things like you give me like 50% of I don't need to work on myself, and which makes me feel like I need to to make, you know what I mean? Like it's so easy the people that are close to you to just be like when I work alone, so like when someone has to watch you, eat yourself basically, like and get frustrated and stressed and like I can't play guitar and sing and do all this same stuff, like having someone there that lets me say that stuff and then says and basically it's okay.
Giving you room to heal and work through your stuff is important.
Yeah, and I mean I'm 30-something years old and like most of the stuff that I have most stuff figured out, but there's still other things like that. I mean, I haven't had to do some of the stuff in the pandemic that we've had to do in the band before, so it's like, okay, how do I do all this? And then now I'm done. I did it all. I figured it out. So
I've spent my entire life around people who are working in a creative environment that can be really stressful, and I've seen a lot of breakdowns. And not saying anyone throws tantrums here. I've seen a lot of tantrums in the ballet world, that's for sure. But like, I'm used to it. Like, and like I know, and I've watched, just kind of through osmosis in my life, I've seen how people react to that. And I learned a long time ago that you don't have to convince someone, like you don't have to tell someone, oh, just calm down, don't worry, don't care about what other people are saying, or like don't listen to your fears, just get through it. Don't, all that stuff that's kind of like cliche and like what you would think to say to someone to like get them through it, but I've learned that doesn't really work, and like sometimes the best thing to do is just like let them have that moment, because I've had those moments too. Sometimes you just have to be frustrated and get it out. And and I've learned, like, I've seen, like, you know, through interactions with other people in my life, that like sometimes the best thing you could do, the most supportive thing you could do, is just let them have that moment, but like still be there for them. Like, you know, I'm like, yeah, it, like, you're in the right to be frustrated. You're in the right, like, you know, so much pressure. There's so much work that has to get done, and let's just feel that, let it wash over us, and then, you know, like, life will still, the world will still be there afterwards, and we'll continue working after that.
When someone's having a breakdown and stuff, it never goes poorly when the people around me stick to their consistency and they don't budge, because then immediately I feel like, oh gosh, like, what am I doing? And then secondly, it's like, it also shows that they care. Like the worst thing you could do is try to be part of the madness, part of someone's freak out. You just need to kind of separate yourself and just feel, just react. Don't react. The non-reaction is the best reaction.
Right.
Honestly.
I've been in both situations. I've been the one having a freak out. I've been the one, you know, being there for someone during a freak out. And like, honestly, sometimes the best response is to just reply to whatever they're saying to you as like, oh yeah, totally, I get it. Like, that's all, you know, sometimes that's all that needs to be said.
Totally. Because like adrenaline and all that, like when it's kicked up, it's like, there's no reason. It's like don't make us have to get to that adrenal state. It's like, you're obviously suffering right now. Like, cool down. The whole, like, on your own time.
Right. The whole, like, no, you don't really feel that way. No, don't let that get to you. Like, that doesn't help sometimes. That's not
you're
what
just
you
kind of placating those emotions that aren't always true, aren't always real.
You're
you know?
letting the other person, if you say stuff like that, you're invalidating what they're feeling. So. Yeah.
But I do like that.
Also,
like. Go ahead.
Sorry. As a partner, it's just it's not always your job to fix something. Sometimes it's just, and also not everything needs to be fixed. Sometimes things just need to be heard, you know? And I think that's important to know the difference. And especially when you're trying to be creative, that frustration is just, it's there, and there is a reason for it, you know? And so just hearing it sometimes is enough to be, all right, cool. I've heard it, and I've said it, and now I'm done. And that's such an important part to understand and realize when you're in a partnership like that. So that's what.
But also all the work and stuff, merchandise and all that stuff. Like, I mean, I know it could be anyone that could be doing it, but like, I'm so happy that it's you, because I don't know, you kind of get, it's weird because I feel like most people have to like know when I'm turning off business mode, but like, I'm like so ready to just like, if you want to talk business to me, I'm never that person that says don't talk to me about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll do it. I'll wake up in the morning and I'll be like, yes, because that's just how I work. And I feel like you've just adapted to that over the years or something, or
I'm an adaptable person, and that comes from my just, you know, my previous ballet world experiences and all that. I'm very adaptable.
But it's so nice to have someone who...
I mean, everything's pretty easy for me to adjust to.
It's nice to have a partner in crime, especially with like Steam Powered Draft stuff, when it's like, there's just so much like non-creative stuff that we have to do.
We don't have an office we go to every morning to work, you know? Like, it's just here in our apartment. So, I don't know. So it all depends on like who you are, what works for you. I know some people, you know, have locks on their phones that stop them from working at a certain time of day. They have rigid schedules, but I think for us, after 6 years of me working on merch and stuff from our apartment, like, we've just, I don't know, we've adjusted to the flow of it. And yeah, I mean, like, it's good to turn off the business side once in a while and, like, you know, do something else and say we're not going to look at emails for a few hours. But, like, most of the time it's kind of like half of our brains are always on it. Yeah. Like, we're always ready to deal with a customer service email or something.
I mean...
But it's good that, like, that doesn't bother us, you know, because we have to work on the business stuff so much together.
Sure.
Like, it's good that we both feel like that.
I mean, you know, I think we're receptive anyways to, like, you know, that just the other night we were up to, like, 3 because I found an error in one of our shipping things.
Yeah, we were working on some
and so we were
shipping settings.
It was, like, off by a few cents, and we're like, we're losing this much money, so we have to fix that.
And it was a late night.
But, you know... If I was not feeling it or Chelsea wasn't, you know, vocal. Anyways,
I
Nice to
don't
have
know.
that. So there we go. Did we all got to say something?
Yeah.
so.
The two of us living together and working together works very well, and we're grateful for that because not everyone's business chemistry and all that would be the
No,
same.
I mean I've worked with people who I've been roommates with, and then also that I've dated before, just because I mean, it's just the obvious person is usually the person you're dating to try and
It's-
help with some stuff that
it's
you're
a small
working on.
business.
Yeah.
It's very common. It's usually a family. Small businesses are usually a family thing where you've got partners and siblings involved and all that.
And it's not about right or wrong. It's more about it's the connection, it's the chemistry and stuff. Because obviously, I don't have any like ill feelings towards other people. It's just like you can tell when stuff ain't working.
Yeah. And oh my
I
gosh,
think
it's so
working in a
cute,
group.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like I started working on the merchandise for Steam Power Draft like 6.5 years now. And I mean, at the time I didn't know, I just thought it was kind of like a temporary thing, but now it's like I'm the merch queen, and it's like, and now it's like I can't imagine like teaching someone else. And I was a ticket sales manager for City Ballet too, and it was kind of the same where it's like after a few years, like I have built this system, like it's mine. I've figured out the best way to do things, the fastest way to do things, and now it's like it would be so hard to train someone else. So like I feel
And it's weird because like Carolina was like when she did it before you, but you were coming in and stuff, and then other people, I would eventually I'm down there somewhere down the line, like, and then Carolina's like, I don't know, I tried to teach everything, I don't know how it's gonna go, and I'm like, he'll be fine, and it was.
yeah.
Like,
No, it's great. I love this job.
one person asked, we didn't get to hear David's favorite thing about himself, or Brian's, or Chelsea.
We've got so many
Oh
questions
yeah, you were
to get
supposed to
through.
do yourself. But
Now you have to talk about yourself.
I don't want to talk about myself. I'm sorry.
I'll say I would not trade my work ethic for anything because I'll live and die by it. Like
Yeah.
I'm never that person that someone has to someone has to worry about procrastinating or not getting it done. Like I'll get it done and I'll get it done a week earlier sometimes, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like that's it, because I couldn't live with myself. And that's not a good way to live, but like anyone can rely on me. Like like I'm in that position, of course, with Steam Power Draft. So there you go. See, I didn't have to talk too much about myself in a weird positive way. But Brian and Chelsea do have to now.
Yeah, go ahead, Jesse.
I feel put on the
Get at
spot.
him.
I don't want to talk about myself.
I like myself because I got this tiny rhino pocket knife.
Oh, that's cute.
And I like pocket knives sometimes and other things. No, I mean I like the fact that I've always known that what I wanted to do in my life. That's been a positive aspect, I think.
You definitely have confidence.
Yeah, for me,
Yeah,
it's
that's it. Like from like 6 years old, I was like, this is what I want to do, and I
Yeah.
think that's like knowing that has helped me just every aspect of my life. It's like there's one thing I don't have to worry about. Is like this is it. This is what it's come down to. So, and I could do this for the rest of my life and be totally happy. Like I'd totally be happy with this. I love performing in any type of manner, any type of form. So like.
you may have to. It's that cartoon.
I will say
I
this.
know. But like that's a thing. I get if I got like $6 million, if I got $600 million, like I'd still be performing. Like no doubt in my mind about that. There's no doubt.
At least
Just
it's,
know-
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, even William Shatner just released a blues CD that looks terrible. I'm just saying the cover looks terrible, but I'm just saying your dreams can happen now or when you're 80 years old.
I want to do an album with William Shatner. What's up?
I would.
Yeah, hell yeah, it'd be cool. It's like a duet crooner, like a weird crooner duet thing. That's what we're doing.
Did you have something?
Oh, I mean, like it's a question that I'd have to like think about a lot. I don't like thinking about myself or praising myself, but I would say as far as live performance goes and like, getting up there in front of an audience, which I've been doing my whole life, I'm not afraid to fail in front of other people. So I
That's
guess I'll
huge.
say that. Like I still
Yeah.
as far as art goes, like other, types of art, not live performance, I definitely have insecurities and fears and, I procrastinate just like everyone else because I'm afraid of not being perfect. But as far as live performance goes, which is what I've trained in my whole life, it's that lifestyle has like really taken away that fear from me. Like I'm not afraid to fail and look like an ass in front of people.
That's huge.
That's also nice
Seriously.
working with people. Like,
Yeah.
like it's everyone gets nervous and stuff,
I'm
but
down
like
for anything. On
everyone
stage,
that
basically.
we've worked with, you know, now is like, you know, we don't get stage fright in that sense. We have the anxiety of like getting
Yeah.
on stage, but like we all
Always,
own it
yeah.
when we're on stage, and I like that about it all.
Yeah.
Like you and Camille as well, you know.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, obviously I don't.
Full force.
Singing would be terrifying, but as far as performance goes, outside of talking and singing in front of
But
people,
as far
like I
as
am
dragging
down
a
for
big wrench
anything.
across stage and no,
Oh yeah, like the funny
Oh,
stuff.
and
Like
pretending to press buttons.
It's not like I got to practice humor and comedy on stage in the past with ballet. So that's definitely something that like anytime you guys come up with a new skit or something you want us to do, like there's no embarrassment or fear there because like I'm
sure.
used. I have definitely failed on stage in front of people in the past, so that
yeah.
fear is gone.
But
Luckily,
that's-
can't
that's
fail with Steam
the-
Powered Giraffe because that was so funny when they
Right?
dropped the ball and they played the wrong note and
But that's the
They're
thing. Is like
okay.
that's like one of my favorite things about this, and it's like both of you will jump off the cliff immediately on stage and just go off on something, and know that we're gonna be right behind you, or
Yeah.
that ability to be able to improvise on stage.
Yeah,
is
improvising is fun.
invaluable.
Like,
It's
Oh yeah.
and just to go to a weird place and know that you can still come out of it. And it's
Well,
like doesn't
yeah.
matter where, like what you say. It's like
Yeah.
we're gonna figure out. Someone's gonna figure out a way to get back. If
And
it's
it-
not you, someone else will figure.
it took Sam a while to figure that out. His first year or
Yeah.
so, I think he wasn't used to that.
It sounds
He was
weird.
a little upset sometimes when we
Uh.
basically inadvertently like threw him to the wolves.
get
But
it.
it's not. It wasn't our intention. It's just that we just.
Things
Yeah,
happen.
like when you've been doing it for so long, it's like we know that we can recover even if we put each other in these awkward
and like an example is like I
positions.
was like really sick, so and for whatever reason I had to pee like every 20 minutes, so I had to take a pee break in the middle of the show, and that's never happened before. But I was like, you're sick enough that you have to do it, and so I made a bit out of it, and I like come up under the in the because I had the orchestra pit open, so I showed up after there, and I was down there, and yeah, I think we kind of threw him for a loop.
trial
like,
by fire. And plus,
Too much
remember that when
improv.
my battery wasn't working or something?
yeah.
At like when we were in Detroit, and then that was like Sam had to just kind of like pull out nothing.
So those two incidents, like after that first year, it was like
Yeah.
he knew exactly what was going to happen, and,
For sure,
and
for
it was
sure.
then it was safe, and it was like okay, and then you go to the 10-year show, and it's him punching me in the groin, and you know what I mean, like
I mean, that's the thing
came
about
a long way.
live theater. Like you have to expect the worst. You have to expect the unexpected.
But
nothing is ever gonna go as planned.
I don't want to
ever.
say that
I never
we weren't unprofessional or anything, like you know we kept
No, yeah.
as much as tight as we could, like but you know like. It
With
wasn't-
improv,
yeah.
improv is always hard because like it's not just that we can do anything. It's that when we do things, we have to understand that we have to see like 12 steps ahead. Like, is this going to go
Yeah.
anywhere, or is this going to be good enough? And to trust other people to have that power is daunting.
But it's about listening, and I always tell any acting students I've ever had is like, listening is the number one thing. We have set lines in theater. Everyone's supposed to say these things over and over again. But what if they don't? What if they say something wrong? How are you going to get out of that? Like, what is the scene really about? If you know what the scene's about, then you'll never ever fail, because they can say something. If you're listening, you can react to it and you can get to a place. But the minute you stop listening is the minute you get lost and you can't do anything. So it's like the minute someone starts improvising, you start listening to those words very specifically, and then if you could call them back, even better. It's like that. That's a polish. It's a polish that just takes time and working
Yeah.
together and something.
I'm seeing all these skills that we've developed are actually coming in handy for the cartoon as we're like immediately like when we start writing and stuff. It's like all three of us will get way into it and then start pulling out ideas. Like I think we're on a good track. I think it's been good. Our journey has happened for a reason. The way it has, I think.
For sure.
How many more questions do you think we can get through them all? We should try to.
Yeah.
Speed questions. We'll stop going on
questions.
All right.
Maybe.
Next question is from Halvor. What are your other
Halvor.
jobs and personal projects, and what do they mean to you personally compared to SPG?
I'll start since mine's easy. I do nothing but Steam Powered Giraffe, and that's all I have time for right now. And I'm perfectly fine with that because until there's like a lull where I might do something solo. But look at, I've only had like 2 solo songs, and one of them came to Steam Powered Draft. So you know what I mean? Like I haven't had much time since we started Steam Powered Draft. There's always a project that I am invested in fully. But I run the company too.
Mine is always if it's something I'm not allowed to have in Steam Powered Draft, that's when I go off and do my own thing. If I could make everything I do in Steam Powered Draft, I would never have to do anything else. But because not every idea I have is going to work for Steam Powered Draft, I have to go off and do my own things. That's the way I see it.
For sure. I got a lot of projects, but I'll keep it short. Zoo is like it's a good, solid money making thing. Also, I like the fact that I can like teach people about animals, and I get to be around animals, and I really like animals.
Yeah.
I also work for a lot of theater companies doing like readings and stuff like that, and that's always fun. But it's not like in the forefront of what I want to do. But every time I have an opportunity to do it, it's like my favorite thing in the world. And then I play another band called The Routine, and it's like all of my release and expression to the fullest extent of my possible human being self, and that's kind of fun to be able to extort that like aggression and like I don't know, just and positivity all at the same time. It's cool. It's like a freeing. It's like a therapeutic like scream session or something like that. I don't know.
It's also nice just to do other things to just bring new energy to the table,
Yeah, it's different, Yeah.
If you can't stretch yourself as an artist, like sometimes just going outside the box and what you're used to, that actually has been really helpful for me, like doing other projects and that I can't always approach it like I would Steam Powered Giraffe. And
sure.
Some of the stuff I come back with after doing this stuff, like probably helps Steam Powered Giraffe in ways I don't understand,
Yeah. I just want to put out
myself
there
the freedom
that like I would totally do that. I just you guys all already know that like.
It's just a matter of time.
Well,
how much time you have.
There's only one person that can do the album stuff right now. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Do what?
I don't have the time. I would love to do other stuff. I don't want anyone to think.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Steam Powered
if
Draft
Steam Powered
satisfies
Giraffe
everything.
ripped on movies, I don't know if that would really.
But you know what I mean?
Make
like,
sense, but we could do it. So it's like I can't really do Movie Mausoleum where I riff on old movies in Steam Powered Giraffe. I mean, we could, but like, is it really something that everyone's going to be passionate about? Well, does everyone love B movies the same that I do? I don't think so.
No,
I think that.
I just meant as in like I'm the reason why I don't have anything out.
Yeah, of course you.
Like I have half finished things like I would love to do with my solo stuff, but I cannot finish them because
you're just saying that you don't want people to think you don't have any aspirations.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I've taken on a lot in Steam Powered Draft,
time
and that's my own thing. But like,
yeah.
someone has to run the company.
Yeah.
Someone has to finish the album. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that's the position I'm in. It's not a. There's nothing for you guys to do. So I'm just trying to make.
But
that's
the responsibility of being in the lead seat of it. Sometimes you have to give up those things.
And someday I will.
Need to happen.
I will do other stuff, and because I need to have that in my life, but I can't do it right now. Like Steam Powered Draft needs to continue to go on to make money.
Yeah.
That being said, like even in Steam Powered Giraffe, there's things that we can work on that we're not used to working on. Like certainly script writing and a lot of the stuff we're working on right now is kind of refreshing because it's just something we haven't done before.
Yeah.
So like Steam Powered Giraffe has a lot of possibilities to keep it interesting. That's why it's hard to get bored with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things like Steam Powered Draft could stop tomorrow and my work would continue on. You know what I mean? Like even if we're not making an album, like eventually I would run out of things to do, but like there's enough projects in motion that like I could, you know what I mean? Like I could finish enough of them without anyone's input. Not that I would want to do that, but you know what I mean? Like like if we never got the rest of the album stuff, I could finish the album with what we have from what you guys gave. So it's like one of those. There's always like a backlog of work to do, and that's why it's hard to like find the freedom because it's like, well, any of my free time is going to go with those other projects that we're kind of like working towards.
Yeah.
Totally.
This next question is from Julia. Would you consider covering the Chocobo theme from Final Fantasy? Perhaps using automaton sounds? Those little squeaky guys.
Good one.
It would just be our voices.
We should do more covers. We'll probably do some more covers in the future. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, after the album's done, that clears up a lot of... working on an album takes up a lot of on the plate of...
I think we'd like to do something a little
week.
different after this album, and covers seem like we'll probably have a couple of those maybe in the future, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be weird when there's not like a song, we're not working on a song, Like it's hard to imagine it because we weren't working on an album for like how many?
We've been working on this
a long time, and then we did, and then it seems like we've been working on it forever, but
But also, it's giving it's been a nice it's keeping like benchmarks, and I think that's important. I've never really had that before in my life, and like I think the past like year or something like that, or year and a half, I guess, when we've been doing this, is like having something to look forward to every like couple months. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah. I think it's been successful,
and it's definitely keeping me sane during this pandemic time.
I think however we're doing it now was just born out of like Bunny and I's past experience with releasing albums and stuff.
For sure.
This feels like a better like.
Yeah, I know a lot of people say like, "Oh gosh, there's not going to be any songs to reveal on the album." It's like that's not the point. The point is that this is the music industry now. It's like you're going to know the whole album before it releases, but that's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, you'll probably. Won't hear
that's why we're having.
Other than that,
what's that?
They'll probably hear like a few of them they won't have heard, but like
totally, yeah. With some of the ways that we're releasing this album, there will be exclusives that for people who only buy the album and stuff like that. So like. But it's been good. I think all in all, it's been successful, if only to keep the continued interest in the album for so long.
Mm-hmm. Next question is from Terrence. What is the quote-unquote developmental age of the robots? I always figured them for being stuck in their 20s, but going on 12. Some of the radio adventures seem to suggest younger.
I think
that's tough because like are we talking about dog years or like what are robots? Do robots have
I think they just don't have a lot of inhibitions, so a lot of childish antics follow when you don't feel restricted by society's standards.
I mean, they're developed like the day they were created. They're developed, It's like everything else is just experience. So
you could say that perhaps because they have such a long lifespan, which would be eternity or however long their parts keep working. That they develop at a slower rate. That could also be the thing because they perceive time differently. We've gotten into a lot of songs where like they'll blink and then people are aging and stuff, So like it's just like elves. They don't experience a long life. They experience a full life just like a human would, or like a dog. A dog experiences a full life. It doesn't have a concept of living longer than it does.
Yeah.
So like from cradle to grave, like that's all is your own biological clock, So who knows why the robots are so childish? But those are all some great ideas.
It's funny.
I was just gonna say because it's funny.
Because it's funny, but also it works. Yeah, of course.
Totally. I mean, it's funny.
I mean, if they don't understand like simple human concepts, then it keeps them at this this kind of gullible, or childlike stage.
I think that even the concept of them wearing clothes probably irritates some of them. Like it's like, why are we wearing clothes? Why do we need to wear clothes? We're not naked when we take off our suits. I could see that.
Finn asks, due to the pandemic and lack of shows while you're releasing new songs, do you think that when it's finally time to start doing live shows again, the set lists are going to be completely different? Because with the direction the world is going in, it seems like live shows won't be an option for a while still. So will the set lists look different when you do live shows again in the future?
Well, we did talk about this a little bit, I think, in another question, but I mean, who knows?
Well, what's the reason to make the set list different other than like new songs and stuff going in?
Yeah.
I'm trying to question the question.
Yeah.
Whatever we feel is needed at the time, whatever we feel passionate about at the time, we'll probably end up on the set lists.
Yeah, I mean, we usually always play the favorites like Honeybee and stuff, our most popular stuff, but Brass Goggle, stuff like that. Which just because like if you're going to go see a Steam Power Draft show, and it's not like we put on a bunch anyways on a regular year, like of course you're going to want to hear some of the standards,
some of your favorites. Yeah.
So we try to think about that with set list, and of course we want to have a blended mix of new and stuff. And within a 2-hour show, there's only so many songs you can play.
Yeah.
But
a lot of it just has to do with practicality, what's ready, what makes the most sense, which ones can we stick in that would give the singer a break in case they're, sometimes if you sing a bunch of stuff in a row, you might need a little break.
That's why me and Camille's dances started coming in handy. Because, I know Hold Me was kind of like a break song.
Yeah, I mean, we think about bits and stuff too. Like, oh, if I have to do Gigi here, I'm going to be pretty tired. Like, after that, I need a little bit to catch my breath. So, which is like, if one of us was a lead singer for the whole show, it's different though, because like, if we were just playing music, it'd be a different show. So we have to kind of account for all the, here's a bit here. This one's okay because it's just talking. This one, someone has to do this. So maybe they'll be winded after that, But as far as the online shows
We
go,
we always try to treat it in the worst case scenario. Sometimes it won't be a problem, but like some days you're just the oxygen levels aren't like if you're in Colorado, it's just there's things that come out of nowhere where you're like, yeah, okay, I'm having some indigestion right on stage, and like I doing Gigi right now is really going to be hard. So
sometimes someone just has to do 2 songs back to back because it's just how the set list worked out or whatever, and there's or we have to wait for a costume change or something. But mostly it's not an issue. With the online shows though, we definitely would have the shows would be shorter, so we'd be able to focus just on,
what you should tweet us your dream set list.
I think we took a survey.
What would you want to see?
10 years
we
ago.
won't do.
It's usually Honeybee Brass Goggles. AH.
What's your Steam Powered Giraffe set list of choice?
We've got 2 more questions. This question is from Roman. How do you guys feel knowing that people play your music at important life events? Important life events.
I mean, it's flattering, right? Like, who doesn't?
Weddings, I guess, mostly. Talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Important live events like dance concerts and stuff. I've heard people who like remixing our songs and playing them during raves and stuff.
It's humbling, but I definitely have the disconnect from it because it's not really something you can wrap your brain around. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those like, and the way I think my brain just has over the years, like it's cool the first few times you hear it, but like now it's kind of like, okay, I just pretend like it's not happening. I don't know how else to say it because it's like
it's weird listening to your music already, but hearing it and other people listening to it, it's like if we got really big and we were in supermarkets and heard our song, how crazy would that feel? Like, yeah, I'm sure it would be like really
you can't
surreal.
Yeah, you can't like we created something that's bigger than ourselves. So like I don't have that connection of like someone likes a song, I'm like, yeah, okay, but they like Steam Powered Giraffe.
I guess it's kind of strange wrapping your head around the fact that something you created and came from your brain could mean something completely different to someone else, and it means something different to everyone. Everyone has their own interpretation and meaning and nostalgia for something that you created. That's definitely strange when you like take a step outside the box and think about it.
I mean, it feels
it's
nice
like
when
Honeybee
people
being
like
used
stuff,
for Honeybee being used for weddings that we always thought was weird because we always knew Honeybee as a breakup song, but it doesn't always. But there's other things that you could see it as an early death song, that you could see it as new love or something. Like there's so many ways you can interpret it, and they're not wrong. It's just that when I set forward to make it, at first it was a love song, and then the woman broke up with me, and then when I finished the song, it was all about breakup. So it's a breakup song to me. It represents like not putting people on a pedestal. But what it means to me is not necessarily correct because, I mean, there's so much more than just my original lyrics in there. You know.
Well, it's what it means to the audience. And that's what.
The audience is always right.
We gotta understand it because it's like whatever your words are, and whatever your intention was is always very sweet. But it's like you can't be next to somebody while they're listening and be like, nah.
No.
The minute you put any art out there, it's not yours anymore. And
it's there,
I don't mean in
sure.
a legal sense. I just mean in a like that's what art's about. People will enjoy stuff in ways you wouldn't imagine, and that's fine. That's just how all it goes. But so I
when you
how
put it
the
out
Isley
there,
Brothers-
it's no longer yours. Like people can do whatever they want to with it.
I wonder how the Isley Brothers feel about writing "Shout." It's like at every wedding. Ever create like it's a standard. Like you have to play that at your wedding. Like "Shout." It's gonna be something right there.
I think it's healthy to have the disconnect though, because it's like I don't know. I can't imagine just living in that. You know what I mean? Like I don't look at.
It certainly doesn't build up our ego. I don't think we let it build up our ego in any way.
I don't think I don't have the self-esteem to do that anyways.
It's always cool when someone recognizes your song or you hear your song coming from a room. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's like, hey, that's awesome. Like,
I think
I'm glad you're
it
enjoying
matters
music.
more when like family members say something or like friends or something. You know what I mean? I don't know how else to say it than that. Like it's like it. It's more important the people that in your life that care about you, what they think about it. Not in a critical way, but just in like, did they? Because that's the only one that I care about it. I mean, I know we're making stuff for fans and stuff, but like in my own head, it's the Steam Power Draft is this big, but my
Yeah.
head can only wrap around this much. Because we're only one
And
person.
that's what's important though. It's like the people who know you that's like, everyone can say whatever they want online about you, but it's like you've never met me. So it's like your opinion doesn't really mean anything. But this person who's known me my whole life, their opinion means something to me all the time, because it's someone who I know and it's someone who I respect. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. Last question comes from Caterpillar Girl. David and Bunny, is there any chance you can share the story behind the ditty "Everybody wants to be a race car, everybody wants to be a race car, everybody wants to be a race car, no one doesn't want to not be a race car"? It's my phone's notification sound from an old SVG hour or Bennettarium, and I know I've heard the tale, I just can't recall it. Hope you were all keeping well. I am so sorry for that wonderful rendition of it, but I don't know what this is referring
I
to.
don't remember this.
I also don't
remember
remember
this
this
I
at
don't
all.
remember. Like, if there's a tune,
I don't remember it at all.
I don't remember. I was like reading it, like,
I
oh,
remember it was someone's dedication to the story Cars by Pixar. You ever seen that movie?
oh,
Are you serious or no?
I think it was David. David was talking
I
about
don't
how much he
remember
loved the
this at
movie
all.
Cars, and specifically Cars 3.
I don't
And then he
remember
wrote this song. No. He wrote the song about the love about the Cars.
Did we say like everybody wants to be a race car? Is that?
I don't even
I
remember
don't
the
know. I'm just
melody.
trying to imagine where
So-
this went. But
I don't know.
I don't remember.
unless we reprov
I
a
must
bit
not
or
have been
something,
there.
it's lost into the ethos.
So this is a good. So any of you Steam Power Draft fans, while you wait for us to come out with new stuff, we have a project for you, so you can help
Find
out.
this song.
So you can help out this.
Draw us
person.
as Cars from Disney's
Oh my
animated.
god.
Actually, there's an art
Send
prompt
David
this week.
Yes.
mini posters of Cars from Disney Pixar.
There's
He
an-
loves posters.
New
of
art
Cars.
prompt: the SPG robots as Cars from
God.
Pixar's
But only
Cars.
David.
The official art prompt from the Steam Power Draft Twitter and Instagram.
Cars is not a bad like Cars 1 and 3 are pretty good. I would say they have it's there's like the 3 is all about passing the torch. It has a nice little story. Cars 2 is terrible, but Cars 1, come on, it's basically
It's
just that
charming.
one movie remade with Cars. That one without.
I've never seen
Yeah.
any of the Cars movies.
It's not that bad. It's just that cars are cars, and they're
Cars are
terrifying.
It's just that there's three of them. There's 3 car movies.
No, the second one is bad. Don't watch the second one.
I won't.
it.
I won't watch
like
the third one either.
I like the honest trailer about the Cars movies where like the end is just the narrator like slowly going crazy and like questioning all these like things about like if they have seats inside, then that means that humans once exist. And he's
That's the whole
just,
thing.
Like,
it's like
going
for such a
insane,
serious
trying to
story,
figure
these
out
stories
how this
usually
world
have
works.
like. Honestly, number 2 works better if only because it doesn't make any sense and it plays up the whole kind of cartooniness of it. It does show things like, oh, there's a car that has headlights where its headlights are its eyes, and that's seen as like disturbing in that universe. So like number 2 pokes more fun at the humor involved in anthropomorphic cars.
Just once.
But the rest of the movies take it really seriously, and it's kind of weird because when you see animated cars, it's like everything is animated. Like the telephone might have a face or something. Like the old Tex Avery cartoons, when the car's like waiting for
Yeah.
his little doom buggy to be born or whatever. It's like he's smoking cigarettes and in a waiting room. Like that's funny. But Cars is not funny. It doesn't know it's funny.
I suddenly feel very old because someone in the chat just said Cars is their childhood.
We were in college when it came out. But the
we
first
weren't that.
one.
I'm like, oh my
we
God,
were,
I'm
but we were
old.
like, we were just out of high school.
It's also David Michael Bennett's childhood. Cars was his whole life.
No.
He loved
It's not that
movie.
bad of a movie.
The first one is
I know.
fine. I watched the
Not
other
that
one.
It's not one of my it's not one I sing praises of.
The art prompt.
That's not.
Oh, art
What's
prompt
the art
this
prompt?
week.
The art prompt this week on Steam Power Draft's Instagram and Twitter is Rex Marksley, friend to all. So
Get drawing.
Cool.
this will probably come out before just in time because we showcase some of those on Friday on Instagram and Twitter. So
Watch everyone just draw cars.
Yep. Well, that
then
was
they
all.
then they won't get it featured. You can work it in there. Maybe Rex Marksley is.
I'm gonna share on Twitter the
High
cartoon I was
fiving.
talking about with Tex Avery. It's really funny. You gotta watch it.
Rex Marksley.
It was one of my favorites.
I mean, that's one of the weird things is that they didn't go to any of those jokes in the. But when you talk when you hear the interview like from Pixar of the animators, like, oh, how's he gonna hold up a map? Is he gonna come out of his tongue? He's gonna hold up with his tongue, or like they had all those ideas, but that's they didn't focus on those jokes. And I think
it's a flimsy universe.
And that's
it's a
why
flimsy
it's
ass universe, and that's why it's not. You gotta just.
But the
blur your
story
eyes
in the
a little
first
bit.
one is fine. It's like good. Like if they weren't cars, it would be a great.
I would have preferred actual
story.
humans in the cars, even if they have this relationship where they're talking cars. If they
The
had just put
are
humans in
skeletons,
the world.
just skeletons inside of them.
Oh my god.
What does Milhouse say in one of the Simpsons episodes? Like, why do the cars have teeth if they don't eat meat?
Oh my god.
Their Milhouse is just terrified of the cars.
Well,
They only drink gasoline, but why do they have teeth? It doesn't make any sense. Maybe because they had to crush the rocks to get the fossil fuels out of them back in the day.
Their teeth. Yeah. Anyways, they only need back molars if they're eating plants.
I'm sure you could make sense of this entire universe.
Maybe
And someone probably
That'll
has.
be the next Bennettarium. We'll discuss how cars can actually exist.
yeah.
Well, everyone talks
And how
about
they've
like
evolved.
all the Pixar films are like some sort of post-apocalyptic thing, which isn't obviously true. I don't really like that theory, but obviously we've considered this, and no, it's not that the cars are robots. They're obviously bioorganic monsters, or yeah, they're like part living, part machine. Cyborgs. Also, when you're in the Cars land, you get inside these cars that are hollowed out in the inside.
It's terrifying.
when you get in the ride.
What's the name of this episode?
Oh. I don't know.
I'm terrified of cars.
I haven't found a good one yet. Kind of forgot about anything that we laughed at. I usually just make it something we
Before.
laughed at.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I
Everyone
think
wants to be
That'll
race
be,
car?
that'll be the name of the episode. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
the last one was Tough Shit Frodo.
It was. Well, that wraps up the questions.
What do you mean we? I'm gonna have to figure it out. Everyone else gets going with their merry lives.
Let's come up with it right now, then.
That's what I said.
Say something funny. What was it? What is it?
Wait, we'll
That's
figure
it.
it out.
Why do I have to come up with all the names? No,
Didn't say you had to. There were some funny things.
no,
you
that
said.
could be the name of the episode.
Why do I have to come up with a name? There you go.
Yeah, that's funny.
You have to wait till the
Once.
ending just to.
Once. Now we can never use that again in an episode name.
Well, hey,
There it is. Ace
better
Noel.
use it now, I guess.
Yeah.
If you don't use it, I'm going to use it for an episode of my
Your podcast,
podcast
yeah.
that I'm going to create tomorrow for that very reason.
Yeah, that's too much work. You don't do that.
Yeah, you're right. I gotta
sitting on a couch and
I'm gonna be
binging
at the zoo all day
Fireflies.
tomorrow.
That can be a podcast. It can be like, I almost had time to record this podcast, but I don't. I'm going to the zoo. Bye.
I thought about that, just doing a podcast of me going from job to job. Like, all right, man, I gotta do this weird stuff. Oh, now here's something else weird I gotta do.
It would probably take off like there's no tomorrow, Brian. I would watch that.
I love adding someone else's stress to my own life. We just want to hear all their problems.
There's the
Makes
name.
me
There's
feel
the
good.
name. I love adding other people's stress to my own life.
Well, you know what I mean. Like if it was just a podcast about our day to day stuff, it would be like, oh, this is a lot. They're going through it. You know what I mean? That's what I imagine. Like, you want to read an article about it, but if you had to listen to a podcast about it all the time, it'd be like, I don't know.
Maybe people have really nice lives and they just need a little bit of drama and stress in there. So they listen to it so they can balance themselves.
I haven't heard a podcast like that. Mostly it's interviewing people. You know, we should actually. I
Where
keep
you
saying we should do that.
There's probably podcasts where people just like complain about things. That would be fun.
Yeah, sure.
let's
I mean,
send
that's
out
ours.
episode.
Half of that is ours already, but we should still do the interview thing.
If you and Chelsea made a podcast about things you don't like, I think it would be very entertaining.
We could absolutely do that.
anytime you guys don't like something, it's hilarious to listen to.
Really? I think
Because
they're
you're so
annoying, 'cause I
adamant
hate
about not
everything.
liking it that you almost convince me to not
Well,
like it.
okay, so this is
Well,
the thing.
that's not the goal, but
This is the thing. Yeah, this is definitely like a Penyak thing. Like, I love to complain because it kind of like runs in the family, but it's definitely like it turns into a comedy. It's like like I'm not trying to convince someone not
It's
to like what I don't
it's
like.
therapeutic to
but
complain.
It's funny. Like it gets to a point
Yeah.
where it's like that's kind of how I grew up. Like my family, like complaining was like an art form. It was like a comedic performance for the other people in the room. So that's definitely like
Totally.
I'm never trying to be an asshole when I'm complaining about something. To me,
I don't
it's
think it ever
like
comes off
it's
like that.
entertaining. Like Camille and I and David and I will like make each other laugh bitching about something. Sorry,
Telling you,
spit on
you guys make a podcast, it'd be perfect.
I hate a lot of things. I could do it.
Yeah, you know.
We should interview each other. Like one of these episodes should just be like, okay, Brian, where did you come from? Well, you know.
Yeah, inside the actor's
Oh,
studio
you
with
don't
Steam
want to
Powered
do you
Giraffe.
don't want to do that with me. I'll just give you all joke answers for an hour.
I mean,
You'll never
that's
get anything
fine.
done. Which is also like my theory of like if we ever got famous, like I don't think I would ever give a serious answer ever in any interview ever.
I guess someone has to be open to wanting to be interviewed.
No, I'll accept every interview, and then every interview I'll just give all just crazy answers, so nobody will ever know.
We've done a few
what's
episodes where we bullshitted like with fake stuff for, right? We
Oh,
tried
yeah.
we tried doing that a few.
We
times.
did a whole podcast about it. We did a whole podcast where it was like nothing. It was a podcast about
It was funny. It was funny.
yeah. It was like how serious can we be about this nonsense
And
then
not
how,
laugh.
How deep can we get into it? Which was like it was one of my favorite podcasts to do.
No, and
because
it's one of
that
our more listened to ones too. Like honestly,
reason. Is
like,
it really?
we should just not be ourselves, and we should actually just keep doing that.
I keep
like that,
telling
yeah.
Camille we need
Sincerity.
to start a podcast together.
We've been a lot more sincere lately, I think, just because of
Well,
because of the state of the
Our
world.
last podcast, we definitely devoted it to the state of the world as much as we could, but all that stuff's still going on. If anyone's out there is wondering, I don't know.
Sure is.
I don't know if anyone's seen.
Yeah.
You
Make
had
sure
to-
you're registered to vote.
Well,
All right. Well, this is
wrap this up.
Pretty good. Okay, and here's the song.
It's a podcast about Steam Powered Giraffe. It's a Bennettarium.
we did lots of stuff and we talked about things and answered questions. Bennettarium.
It was almost 2 hours long.
Y'all have a wonderful 2 months, and we'll see you in 2 months for the next one.
See you in October.
We could do these sooner if we wanted to. It's just we were trying to make space for radio adventures.
Yeah.
We do have any radio adventures in the works. We're
Honestly,
still working
I
on
don't
it.
think I would have time. It
Yeah, you're
takes
right.
a while
Yeah.
to set it up, and then I think while the album's going on, yeah.
This is
yeah,
fine.
so if
2
you're a
2 months is good.
Patreon, if you're a Patreon patron, I believe at the $10 tier or higher, visit our Discord. You can send us questions in the Bennettarium questions channel. We'll answer them next time.
Also, the Patreons, they get the episode early, so
Yes.
you get to watch the live stream
Lucky
if you're
you.
at the $5 tier or higher, and then you also get to hear the audio podcast on the,
Yeah,
the RSS feed that you get from
yeah.
Patreon. And you get it early, like a few days. I don't know when this one's going up.
I'm off to, I've got mystery mail to ship out now.
I see a few more packages left, but there's a big stack.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well,
Good job,
it's
Chelsea.
been real, y'all.
Okay, I'm gonna end the vent now. I don't have to wait 30 seconds so it doesn't cut off someone talking.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
It's podcast and cover the song and we'll cover it like this, and it's everybody singing and clapping at different times.